Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Let's Create here. This is episode 21 for the Wholf campaign, Past Echoes. Since the last episode, I've been debating on whether or not I should change or update the title to the new arc. But to be honest with you, I think we're still in the same arc, Past Echoes, but we are in the final moments, I believe, in my opinion. So, I want to try something different in the format on how I'm going to take notes and show you guys visually. So I have my whiteboard here. We've used this before many times. And I still have the world map, but it's kind of disregarded for now. It's off to the side, not very important. I want to use this for the episode notes. I've compressed world details into this little booklet here. We have locations, we have factions, and characters. That's it so far. This is my master notes. This is everything that we've been doing before, all the notes we've been writing before since I went from AI to manual. We got our character sheet, and of course we have our lucky one-page mythic at the side. So since both our characters that we've been following have divided, have basically split up unintentionally, we have Jory, we have Wholf. Wholf is currently at the Temple Dragon, while Jory is at the Archives. I have retconned the name of the Archives, the group itself, the faction. They are now called the Archivals, and also changed the name of the Arcane Veil to the Arcane. Simplify them just slightly. So the Archivals and the Arcane. The Archivals, also a slight adjustment to who they are a neutral, bureaucratic collectors of artifacts. They remain and function within the theocracy of the Hallrith city. The Arcane are a chaotic counterpart to the Archivals. They scavenge for artifacts. They steal, they pillage, and kill to steal artifacts. Remember, Archives are more of a neutral party, while the Arcane are the chaotic leaning counterpart, rivals, essentially, arch rivals, and or I should say arch nemesis, arch rivals. So, where do things currently sit? Well, something very significant happened in the last episode, and that was Wholf's parents. Basically, Wholf, as he was observing this large statue, this large dragon, most likely the dragon that he recalls from past flashbacks, that attacked his village of Ashford. He doesn't recall seeing anybody flying the dragon like in some shows. But he thinks, just based on experience, assumptions, the dragon was being controlled by someone from afar. Probably in these hills further away from Ashford. Now, he's talking to his parents. And he's about to talk to them. This is just a little summary. And his father puts his hands on Wholf's shoulder. Wholf's eyes widen, turns around, and he sees both of his parents in spiritual form. He does not know how to react. Actually, I don't even think he knows who they are. This is where we can do an approach. We can do an action. We can do an ATM, which gives us the freedom to pick 1 through 3 possible aspects out of the very crucial moment that we're about to interact with. Or we can choose an aspect from Wholf's collection based on our chips. So it currently has 3, as always, as its refresh rate. And as we're sticking with the world of the apocalypse system, world of apocalypse, then we're going to roll using the approach of our choice. But are we going to claim and activate an aspect or compel an aspect? I think in this moment, with his parents present, we are going to compel an aspect. And as he is being overwhelmed previously to the fact that he's in new territory, he's in restricted lands from his past, and the fact he remembers the dragon attacking his home. And now the hat trick, his parents. 2 older looking, well, actually, if they're spirits, probably they died at his age or slightly younger in real time. His age as of now, in present time. I think we should compel, and that is memories of death. That is the second aspect right here. So, in doing so, we're going to roll. Well, actually, if we are compelling an aspect, we grant him a additional refresh rate, refresh fate point. But I'm going to choose, let him roll to figure out how to respond, who they are, etc. Just this roll will represent his reaction to the presence of his 2 deceased parents. And this is 3 dice, but disadvantage with the compel. He's accepting the compel, but he's rolling with a disadvantage. We are rolling, I think the approach will be careful. Let's try careful. So 3 and 2, oh, I'm sorry, 2, 2 is the lowest roll. That gives us 4 plus careful 2, sorry, 1. That is 5. That's a fail. With the amount of pressure, mental stress, not on the list here, not on the sheet here to mark, but with mental just stress I'm keeping in consideration of the situation. He doesn't recognize them, doesn't know who they are. So he probably, to some extent, says, "Who are you?" And now the parents respond. But how do they respond? Let's get our D100. We're going to roll on this, on our list. The first thing they do is break 29, 26. They break empty. They're about to speak, but they pause. The mother and father look at each other. There's a level of disappointment in their expression. And I think Wholf sees that, but also concern. Because we rolled empty, they either say, "You don't recognize us," Wholf doesn't recognize them. So we don't really have to have him say that, but I think they're speechless. Or they can't talk. They cannot talk. Let's go with that. They are in spiritual form and they cannot speak. So I'm going to kind of put a strike through that. They cannot talk. He's seeing his parents for the first time in some form, some medium after they're dead. And they just glare at him. They look at him for moments, and Ulf is trying to figure out who are they. But I think Wholf is a smart guy. For a survivalist, I believe he's a smart guy. He's been trained. So what I'm going to do is let Wholf roll with an aspect. And that aspect is lessons taught by Edwin or hire of Ashford. Edwin, we found out, is his uncle. He doesn't know that yet, but that's what we know as the game master, as the game master. But from him, the character doesn't know that. So we have the option of injecting two possible aspects here. One, lessons taught by Edward. Does this qualify anything? Does this relate to anything Edward taught? Well, there are two spirits presenting themselves in front of him in some astral form. He is obviously no stranger to magic, so I think that could be a point considered. The other one is higher, the heir of Ashford. He is the descendant. He is the last, well, I shouldn't say descendant. He is the last surviving member of the village itself. His parents were part of this village. So when it comes to either reigniting a past memory of them, depending on how young he was, being thrown away, pushed away from the burning carcass of the ruins, I'd say that probably qualifies a bit more. Edwin does obviously have some relevance here. He raised them as his own, but these are his parents. Edwin's nowhere to be found, and Edward is dead. That's obvious. But his parents, they're right in front of him. I think regarding the flashback of the dragon, he's going to have another flashback or another connection with them. So, what we're going to do is roll invoking this aspect of hair, I believe that's how you pronounce it, of Ashford, and rolling with advantage. Remember, we're not using fate dice, we're using our Power by the Apocalypse system dice. And this will be careful. He's not under pressure. He's not under some urgency. He's under pressure. So let's roll with advantage. We're invoking Hair of Ashford. That's going to be actually just enough. So with the top two, and careful is a +1, so that's 6, 7, 8. That's a partial success. He recognizes his, let's say, mother. He recognizes his mother. Or father. Well, I am going to either say that maybe his mother or father died much earlier in life. Let's say his mother died much earlier in life. And so his father appears more approachable to him. His mother, she probably died at a young age when he was at a young age, 3, 2 years old, doesn't remember much about his mother. But his father, obviously, until he's probably 9 or 10 years old, and then the attack happened. That makes more sense. Because of this roll, it's a partial success, which means it's going to impact the story. He doesn't recognize the mother, but the father, yes. Okay, so let's write that down. He recognizes the father, not the mother. She died far before the incident. And that makes sense based on this roll. Okay, so he sees his father. He starts tearing up, or he sheds one single tear, like Robert Goulet would. And the mother steps forward. She hugs him. And then he starts to realize who she is. Just took a moment. And took a moment. And he tries to hug her, looking at his father, but his hands go right through her. She steps back. She smiles, probably wipes off a few tears. She looks to her husband, to his father, and he smiles. He looks over to her. He then hugs him. He then kind of keeps his hands around, puts his hands on the shoulders, and you can see he doesn't talk. Remember, he does not talk. Think of the scene from not the very recent Ghostbusters reboot, the sequel reboot, whatever it was called, the prior one, the first reboot that took place in the farm. That very dramatic moment at the end when they see the spirit of the deceased member of the Ghostbusters. Shoot, I'm so embarrassed. I cannot remember his name. I know he passed away some time ago, but it was a very heartfelt moment tribute to the actor and to the character as an equal. So that's how it kind of feels right now for Wholf. He is about to break emotionally, but he's a tough guy, But still, there's also a side of him that wants to break, and so the father attempts to speak. They don't speak per the rules of the universe, but he he basically is trying to say, "I'm sorry." Maybe that's what Wholf is thinking. The hugs, the looking straight into his eyes. Wholf is thinking that they are trying to show some not regret or remorse, but just an apology after everything that happened. They had no choice to save him. If Wholf died, maybe something would have far more drastic happened to the land. I don't know. That could be a discovery for later. But as they as he tries to say something, Wholf kind of like he's getting a pain in his head, and he's just like trying to process what's happening. This is a huge connecting moment where with his parents, he finally sees his mother in the physical form what she looks like, at least when she died, and his father before he died in the incident. And he's trying to connect the dots. He's overwhelmed. He looks back at the dragon, and the dragon's like just kind of not facing, looking at him directly, like, "Hey, what's up, bud?" But like just kind of looking ahead of him, behind him. Originally, when he was looking at the dragon, and it's a big, very terrifying dragon. And then he feels the presence of his parents fade. He looks back, they disappear. So they're gone because they serve their purpose. He drops to his knees. This happened before in a much earlier episode where we were using AI. Oh right, I'm sorry. On camera, I wrote "gone," but for dramatic moments, I'm trying to talk to you guys. Did this in the setup. He drops to his knees and he's broken. So when that happens, he feels a rumbling in the ground, in the floor, and the structure starts to not shake like an earthquake, but like not a what do we call it? A 1 or 2.0 earthquake magnitude, but like some kind of large door is opening. So he starts to feel the ground rumbling. He stands up, and he's trying to get back, into battle ready mode. He's looking around and the room is starting to shake. The dragon itself starts to move forward towards him. He backs up and he's looking around, and then the dragon itself stops. It moves forward like maybe 10 feet. It stops, and there's let's say gray smoke or some kind of dust coming through from behind, like it farted or something. Some kind of smoke appears behind the dragon, and he's looking around like in case there's anybody here. He looks back. There's a large door that's closed at the very very back of the chapel. That's what I'm assuming we are. Cathedral, a chapel, some kind of large room in this Hogwarts-like building. And so behind the dragon, he kind of peeks around, and there's an entrance. There is an arch, no door. There's a bright. Let's see what it looks like. Let's ask you what. What exactly is behind? Let's write down also a doorway appears, and so What does this appear to be? Let's roll two descriptors. This is for benefit. Okay, so it's mostly for him. 84. Rough. The door is jagged. It's partially damaged, but it's a benefit because it's not necessarily just a way out, but it's going to benefit him. So let's remember that benefit keyword. I think I actually well, um, I looked at the action by mistake. Description would have been beautiful. Let's just take a benefit. So in seeing this, he can see. Um, he smells. He smells plants like flowers, a mixture of different things. And as he's walking out slowly around the dragon's pedestal, he approaches this new revealed archway, this doorway. He's looking through. Now let's jump over the Jory. So, Jory is being guided through the archivals underground operation headquarters department incorporated, and is basically walking with this older lady who's also a magic user. So one thing I thought of was that Valessa is actually the leader. It makes sense to me. I mean, she's the only character we really pointed out or named from the archives. The archive, formerly artist formerly known as archives. She's the leader of the archives. She is a that she made herself look like a minion, like a small, low-ranking member of the group. But it turns out she is a high-ranking, the leader of the archives. And we know that they met, I believe. I'm not tracking every single detail in the game, the story, but we know, I believe they met in person with Jory or Jory met with her and obviously Wholf back in a few episodes ago, or 4 or 5 episodes ago, when they were being chased or ran into them. Anyways, as he's being guided through, he still maintains his magical identity of his persona as Jory, not the evil Jory, but Mr. Goody Two Shoes Jory is being guided through. And as he's walking, he is seeing many rooms of different types of artifacts. Everything, like I said, the archivals are very organized. They are OCD through the roof. These guys have every different type of artifact, like the collector from Marvel. They are all labeled in separate rooms behind locked and protected uh, guardianships or guards, and each door says what they are, like artifacts like magical stones, weapons, enchanted armors, enchanted armor, potions, tr- trinkets, etc. Anything in a cliche sense of fantasy items. And so he is basically just kind of getting a read on the place. He's trying to understand the layout. And as he stops. She turns around, the old lady, not Valessa. She turns around and kind of gestures to this last door. It's a nice, beautiful, red, large iron door with like a nice golden handle behind it, and there's bars and kind of seen through. And so the old lady uses her hands, some kind of magical spell, to open the door as it creaks open. And in the middle of revealing this room gets revealed as Jory is welcomed in because they see him as an ally. They see him as a basically like a contractor at that point, like an ally, an external ally for now. And kind of classic like James Bond villainish. You see this large rotating chair that's hovering over the floor, and there's a desk, and Valessa's talking to one of her people. It's very probably taller gentleman is wearing a cloak. You never really see his face. He looks up at Jory, and then Valessa, you can kind of see her head turn, and then she spins around to reveal it's Valessa. And Jory's eyes kind of widen, and again, remaining in character, he says, "This was unexpected. You are the leader of the archivals." And she nods. She says, "Yes, I am. I have a tendency to step out, play the part as one of the lower ranking members of my people. But in the end, she's like, at the end of the day, I am in charge." The old lady walks away. The gentleman who's much taller than Jory, this big guy, Barbarianus, kind of leaves and shuts the door. And so Valessa says, "Where is Wholf?" Jory, oh, let's track this down. I'm not exactly tracking all the details now with this whiteboard method. So Jory meets with Valessa. And because that, let's fix this up. Kind of at a low angle here, so my writing will not be perfect. Meets, there we go, that's much better. So let's go to the ugly mugshot mode. So as Valessa is speaking and asking where's Wholf, Jory tries to figure out a way to lie here. Again, we don't have a character sheet for him. He is NPC, but I'm showing you guys his story arc or his side of the quest. He explains that he lies. Well, it's truth covered in dirt. He says that they were ambushed by the arcane and they kidnapped Wholf, taking him to an unknown location. Joy's not going to talk about the hatch, the chamber, none of that. The vault, none of that. He is sticking to the very basics and what actually happened so that she doesn't get too suspicious. Maybe Jory's not the best liar, doesn't have the poker face. I think we've said he does have some ability to lie and cover up, but again, he wants to stick with what happens is trying it to his advantage. What actually happened, he's using it to his advantage. Let's roll to see how she responds here. I can continue controlling what happens, but I want to see what the Oracle said. So as he details that he got kidnapped, she does the following: 22, conflict. That makes sense. 63, natural. This is a natural conflicting moment for her. She needed she needed Wholf for this. Jory is not of interest. Jory's companion. He is an ally. He is exposable. What do you call it? Expandable. Not in a bad way. Just he's not exactly an important character in her eyes. Valessa stands up and she says, "The scroll. Where's the scroll?" Because they wanted the scroll. I think that was the whole deal. I mean, I'm not tracking everything, but I believe she wanted the scroll after Wholf did whatever digging he had to do about his family's lineage. Joy says the scroll was taken with the archive, with the arcane. He was not able to recover it. She slams the table maybe and she says, "You did not protect him. Do you realize what happened? The scroll is what we needed. That was the deal. It's now in the hands of our arch enemies." And Jory says, "I understand. Look, I did what I could. They outnumbered us. I was not able to get in an attack. They portaled him somewhere." And as he says that, she she stops him for a moment. "Did you say portaled?" And Jory, maybe a Floridian, for what do you call Floridian slip or let a slip, Floridian slip. He regrets saying that. He says, but now he has to run with it. He says, "Yes, I believe I saw them take him somewhere through a portal." And then she kind of circles around her table. She walks up to him and she says, "What kind of portal was it?" Because he's a magic user, and I'm assuming she is also no stranger to magic. Jory is going to have to lie here. Or does it tell what he saw? Now, he didn't see the mirror. That's obvious. That was the artifact that was used to teleport Mr. Wholf to the Temple of Dragon. But he can just say some type of portal was seen, some aura. So I won't go into specifics, but he says he gives off an example of what he thinks he saw. Some blue aura. It turned to dust. They left a rune mark on the ground, and so she's thinking. She leans back against the table. She says, "I have to consult my experts on this. So follow me." So she leaves the room with him, and let's write that down. Uh, Takes Jory to a magic, I don't know what to say, expert, someone who specializes in domain portal summoning, perhaps some specific type of magic. Maybe it's the old lady. Let's ask the oracle. Let's go. I'm sorry, I didn't show you guys what I wrote down. Takes Jory to a magic expert for portals. There we go. For portals. And let's ask the oracle. Is it going to be the old lady from before, the one who was at the door, the bottom of the staircase? I'd say 75% chance. Oh, that's a very strong yes. So, as she guides him through the halls, they get to a room, and it's near the front door. The old lady is like sitting at the entrance on a chair. She is, remember, that's her post. That's kind of where she mostly spends her day. She's reading some books. There's a stack of books right next to her on the table, and she's just reading. She's like, well, glasses or a monocle or something. And she looks up and she says, "Oh, you again." She closes the book, and a bunch of dust kind of fills the room. And when the dust covers the whole room, she appears in front of him like she's ain't staying up at all. So, uh, Valessa says, "This is my expert on portal summoning and teleportation magic. Explain to her what you told me." The Jordan looks to her and he details what he just said from earlier. She says, "That's, well, let's see what she says. I'm an expert on magic spells from fantasy, so let's roll with it." What does she say? These are two descriptors, not action descriptor. 69, giggity. Old Mac. Okay. 41, old, helpful. Okay. She simply just says that it's old magic what they use, but it's very helpful and accurate in the teleportation from one location to another. It's very old magic, meaning that she's confident it is indeed. Okay, so basically she backs up what Jory says. She credits saying that it's old and the arcane or the arcane, let's just say they're known for using old magic. Great. So Jory kind of smiles. He smirks inside. He's like, "Okay, there we go. That backs my claim. My lie, kind of my Freudian slip, did work out after all. But it might have made things complicated too, more complicated." Valessa says, "All right. So they used an old method of magic for teleportation to summon a portal, and they obviously went somewhere else." Now, Valessa does ask the old lady, her expert in portals, um, how far do you think they would have gotten? Jory is just kind of listening. She says, as you kind of, let's say she sits down and she thinks, well, there's not many other locations around this area to teleport. Usually you have to teleport to an area that you're familiar with. So, portal to an area you're familiar with. So basically, you can't just portal like down the street. You got or to some random area you've never been. It's basically you have to portal somewhere where you are uh, as a backup plan. You have a two like the portal gun from Portal. You have to have one area already established with runes, and then the new portal has to work between the two. That's at least what I'm trying to make this logic work in this world. So she says they would have to have the other location be accessible, and it can be anywhere in the southern island. It's like, oh shoot. So Jory says he's playing stupid. He probably does know where. I'm trying to think. Does he know Does he really? Does he really know where Wholf is exactly, or does he have an idea after speaking and after all this time thinking about it? Does he know? Does anybody know the Temple of a Dragon? 50-50 chance here. Okay, so does the general public know about the Temple of Dragon? Let's go to the my world map here, which again I won't be using too often unless we have to go to it. So the Temple of Dragon is right here. We are right here. It's not exactly a week's worth of travel. That's probably a few days. So that's probably what 100 miles due southwest. So I guess it probably could be a week. I don't know. Distance, I don't even want to try. But maybe she pulls a map out, and it's a map of this, or it's a map of Southern Island, and it shows the whole map. Which obviously I want to go into all the details here. Majority recognizes the first the Raven shape where we started, and Ash word is on here. There are probably some other locations, but she's thinking where would the arcane be? She's gonna have. She has a feather. She has an ink and a stencil here. She's looking over the map, and then she thinks, I don't think the arcane is on the North Island. She looks at this island right here, this smaller piece of land, and then she kind of hovers around here. Now, the map here has that Shadow of War. Um, it's blanked out. It's either erased or something's missing. She's like, I believe there's great magic coming, great darkness coming from this area here. So she kind of hovers around her stencil around this the Marking Temple Dragon. So let's put this back. Based on her expertise, she points to the Temple of Dragon. Temple of Dragon, or teleportation, where you ended up. I should say mention. And with that, we conclude Jory's half of this episode. But I want to go back to Wholf just for a second. Wholf, as he walks through the archway, he sees the following. Roll for it. Two descriptors. Oh, 0. Oh, that's 100. Warm. Okay. And 45. Incomplete. He sees a garden. An actual garden. And it's not a greenhouse. It's not like inside. But it's outside of the temple. It kind of leads up to like this overlook of the ocean. And it's a garden. It's a dead garden. Incomplete. It's dead. Okay, so there are like dead flowers. Everything's all dead. It's a small garden. There's a ledge of looking over the cliffs because it's right next to the ocean of the unknown, whatever it's called. Eventually, but yeah. So he looks at the garden. That's a smell. He smelled something in plant life, and it's dead. It's dead flowers. He's walking around, and he's confused. Why is there a dead garden here on the edge? And so, as he's walking, he hears some footsteps. He has his daggers ready. He turns around, he pulls his daggers out like this, and just kind of a little reaction. He sees someone stepping through the archway to reveal themselves to him, and that's where I'll close off the episode. So, there's again a dead garden. And then a mystery person appears. There you go. So that's it for episode 21. I hope you guys liked this method. Let me know if you do. It's larger. It's not just the map in my notes. It's a little more spread out. And if you like to see my face the entire time, compared to the board and then this, hey, how's it going? I think. So yeah, that's it. I think this was a great episode. I'll make my updates to my master notes here. But either way, as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.